22nd. I got home, it's close to midnight. I got home around 9. Around 9. I was reflecting on the day. Excuse me. It was a great day. Totally not expected. I mean, I only really planned for 2 of the 3 things. So there was a last minute okay, so here's what happened. I went to the winery. Beautiful. Had like reserved seating. It was just wonderful. The view was wonderful. The experience was great. But there was a theme during the day. There was a theme all day. And it was this feeling of being somewhere in the middle. Being somewhere in the middle, but also not speaking up. Being somewhere in the middle, but not speaking up. Okay. All right. Here we go. Here's the theme. This hasn't happened in a while. This hasn't happened in a while. So I'm going to just share what happened today, and then I'm going to backtrack to share the theme. Went to the vineyard. It was great, beautiful view. It was by myself. They were surprised when I checked in. They're like, party for one? I'm like, yeah. I was so excited. It was gorgeous. Food was great. As I was sitting and enjoying the view, I saw one of those planes, those old school planes where you're like exposed. I don't know what they're called, but they're like the old school, like vintage planes. And I've always wanted to ride one of those. One of my favorite movies growing up was the Ya Sisterhood, which is like an old school movie, but I really enjoyed it. I really connected to that movie because of Sandra Bullock's character. She grows up and she's the oldest, and she saw abuse, experienced abuse. She was the oldest, and then she grows up and she's afraid of being a mother, and that was during that time I was afraid of being a mother because I was afraid of repeating the cycle. And so she grows up and she's a writer, and she writes plays, and she she wrote a play about her mom. And this whole relationship, this whole movie is about her and her relationship with her mom. And it, you know, it talks about like the challenges, you know, that women faced in that time period and in that community, and just so anyways, I just really connected. So there's a scene, and it's one of those movies where it goes back in time, different time periods. So there's different timelines that you're following the characters. And so Sandra Bullock's character's, her name's Sita, and when she's younger, her mom, who plays Ashley Judd, it's like they're coming home from something, they see the plane, they pull, like they're trying to get a plane ride, but Sita chickens out, and the mom's like, are you sure? And then she's like, she's too afraid. So she chickens out. Everyone else does it, and then she's so bummed out that she chickened out. And so her mom actually says, you know, like sees the sadness, and they drop the kids off, and then Ashley Judd takes her back. She's like, you really want this back? This is gonna, you know, transform your life if you don't do this. And you know, Sita's like, yeah. And so the mom's like, all right, let's go back. So she takes her back, and they get on the plane, and they find a way because the guy's like out of gas, and so anyways, she gives her daughter the experience of a lifetime, right, for a kid, and goes up on this plane, and I remember that scene because I remember I always wanted to ride a plane like that. So I'm sitting at the vineyard, and I'm seeing a plane from a distance, and I'm like, oh, it's one of those planes. It's one of those planes. Like I've always wanted. Like there must be an airport around here, right? Because I don't know the area, Sonoma County. And I'm like, oh, that would be so awesome if I could do that. and just enjoying like that it's flying, right? Enjoy the wine. I hadn't drank in a while. Forget that I'm a lightweight. Music's good. I sneak out. I sneak out. And not really, like, you know, I leave. And I'm going to my second destination, which was, you know, to go to that olive, it's not a ranch. What is it called? They have all the olive trees. So I can get my olive oils. So I'm on my way there. What do I see? It's the entrance to the Sonoma Valley Airport. And I see all those classic planes and I'm like, oh hell yeah. So I just turn in, and so totally unexpected. Not what I had planned. One, to do, two, to pay for. And I'm there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really gonna do this. Like there was just this awareness, I'm just gonna do this. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. So I walk in and look at the prices. I'm like, ooh, it's like skydiving all over. But I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do? I mean, this is here. Like I asked for it, right? I literally asked for it, and here it is. Because I didn't know that that's what was there. And so I did it. I did it. And maybe I'll include some clips in here because I didn't post those, but it was amazing. It was amazing. It was just wonderful. And then I paid for, like, we do flips and stuff, so he does like 6 of them at the end. It's like thumbs up all the way. Every time. It was so great. So great. So that was a nice surprise from the universe, in the sense of like, because I literally, I didn't know it was on the way. I thought it was like further out. So I figured, okay, well, you know, paid a pretty penny for that one. I'm not going to go to the olive oil place. So instead I decided to head to Capitola, which was like 2.5 hour drive south. So I got there, and it was already at the end of the day. Got there like at 6. And just got to see everything kind of like slowed down, and it was a nice walk, window shopping, got to see the buildings that were colorful, and got to sit, you know, at the little beach thing. Not like I usually do. I usually like find a spot, and I took everything with me just in case. But it was getting chilly, and I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna stay long. Like I just wanted to, one, see if this place existed, right? In terms of, because it was what my sister sent me on the Instagram post. And then I walked the pier and then drove back because I knew it was going to take another 2.5 hours to get back, and I wanted to find good parking so I could unload my stuff and then tomorrow morning head for my Planned Parenthood appointment. So I did that, did my post, my annual post, right? Posts, plural. And came home. I'm exhausted, and I've just been sitting, and I'm not gonna do my work. Just been sitting, and I'm doing more of the uploading of the videos because tonight is the only one left. And then I was looking at my final just to kind of see. I was like, oh snap, there's a lot more stuff. I should look at that too. Then I was reflecting on the day. And I was reflecting on MJ's message for the weekend. And it talked about, don't make any sudden, like, you know, we're in retrograde, don't make any major decisions. I'm like, oh, whoops. And then even reflecting on that, like, don't make any major decisions, you know, because I had told this fire sign, I'm just like, I think we should be friends. And then I'm listening to all of the, all the categories. It's air, fire, earth, and water. And I listen to usually 3 out of 4 because I have 3 out of 4 in my chart. I have all 4, but for whatever reason, I don't really listen to the water one, but I did today, actually. So a lot of it talked about the patterns and owning, right? Owning that I'm attracting this. I attracted him to me. And then I realized he's another lesson, right? I mean, I knew that before. I just didn't know how much of a lesson it would be. But it's another lesson. Completely another lesson. It just looked a little different. But the element that she highlighted was this element of speaking up. That before I would shut down or run away, right? Instead of speaking up. So I said, okay. So I'm thinking about the day. So here's what happened. At the winery, I think, and I haven't looked at the details, but I think I was supposed to have cheese and nuts to go with the 4 glasses of wine, which I didn't have 4, I had 5. So that was a bonus that I had 5. And I want to say I was supposed to have cheese and nuts and some stuff. But I didn't ask for it. I thought they were just going to bring it. And I heard another couple like ask for it, but by then I had already got a pizza. And so I had already with the mindset that I wanted a pizza from their like oven thing, because pizza for me is like, that's my guilty pleasure. Like I could have all kinds of pizzas. Like I love pizza. I could eat it cold. When I could have milk, I would have it with milk in the morning. I have it like tostado, you know, like I just love pizza. And I wanted to try their pizza. And I knew that was gonna already be like bread and cheese. And I was preparing myself for that. So there was a part of me where I was asking myself, should I ask for it, knowing that I may not eat all of it, just to ask for it, but I'm gonna get pizza and there's only one of me. One of me. I chose not to ask for it, even though I think it was included, because I was gonna buy the pizza and and because it hit me. I mean, it was hitting me. And I was like, oh snap, like I need to walk this off. I can't drive like this, right? And I ate the whole like personal pizza because of the bread. Like I knew the bread would soak in what was in my stomach. And then I forgot to eat. I was supposed to eat something before, but I didn't have bread to eat to already have in my stomach. So regardless, I would have been screwed. So I didn't ask. I didn't speak up for it. Even though I wasn't sure if I was going to eat it. At the Sonoma Valley Airport, the kid, and I say kid because it was a kid who was taking, he was so cute. And so cool. Like, I really liked him. I really liked the vibe. Like, it was very like slow paced. He'd grown up in that area his whole life. He's young. He didn't believe I was 41. He's like, you're 41? I was like, yeah, but technically I'm 42. And I shared with him the post. I'm like, did you know that technically you're already completing that year? He's like, what? And I was like, yeah. So then I explained the whole baby thing. I'm like, you know, baby, when you celebrate their first birthday, they already completed the first birthday. They're not starting the first birthday. And he's just like, like he's taking it in. And I was just like, so he was shocked, right? He gave me 3 different routes that I could pick from in terms of the scenic routes. And so it was going up and down Napa Valley to see all the rich people houses, which I was like, no. He recommended one towards the coast, which was his favorite, or there's another one that goes another way to the other side of, I don't know, the marina. I chose the one that he wanted, which was supposedly the one on the edge. Definitely not the Napa rich people homes. I don't want to see that. I wanted to see the scenery. And I said, which one do you recommend? And he pointed that one. That was the one I wanted. I didn't get that one. I got the one that was in the middle, and I didn't say anything. One, I didn't say anything because I was just appreciating the whole experience, right? I loved it. It was wonderful. I still got to see the water, and it was just like, it was like I was mind blown by it. But I didn't speak up, that wasn't the one that I was initially prepared for, right? It was the one somewhere in the middle between the one I really wanted and the one I didn't want, right? So even thinking about like the winery, I was somewhere in the middle about, well, do I really want to eat it? Do I want not? Like, I actually want the pizza more, which I got. But I was still entitled to, because that's what I paid for. It was, well, I got an extra glass of wine. So there was kind of like this balance, like kind of somewhere in the middle. I don't know. That's fine. I get to the beach. And I guess it's somewhere in the middle where I got there. I didn't really like stay at the beach like I normally do. I got prepared for it just in case. So I wasn't fully there, but I was. It was kind of like somewhere in the middle, right? I went there just because I just wanted to see the colorful buildings to say that I checked it out, right? So I was somewhere in the middle. So on my way back, my neighbors text me that a package came for me. I was like, I wasn't expecting a package. And that I guess it didn't fit in my mailbox, and so they were going to slide it in. I left my light on because I knew I was going to be late. But when I leave my light on, like, you can see my hallway. So I told them, I said, I'll be there. And also they said, so the youngest kind of squeezed it in. A package, I guess. And they want to make sure that I got it. I said, I'm not home. I'll be home in an hour. I arrived and the gate was open and I thought it was them. No. Someone had come in and stole the package. And so I was like, okay, because I just saw the cards laying on the, like you could tell, like they were just kind of thrown in. If it were just letters, they usually put it in my slot. So I knew someone took it. I didn't want to make them feel bad. One, because they've told me, if you get a package, let us know and we'll hold on to it for you. I didn't know that I was receiving a package, so I didn't give them the heads up. And that's one of the reasons why I have a P.O. box, because I knew that happened, and I know this happens, and at least at the mail people hold my boxes for me. So I have no idea who sent me a package. And so it was disappointing to know that. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know who it's from. I didn't know. Like, so I'm somewhere in the middle in terms of like, well, do I let them know for them to hold on to it for me? Like, usually the agreement was that I would let them know when I was getting a package so that they could hold on to it for me. I didn't know that a package was coming. And so, and usually, like, they did their part. They gave me the heads up. I just wasn't here. And apparently it must have gotten really close. It was small enough to where they were able to slide it in, but I guess they didn't slide it in far in to where someone else saw it, came in and took it out. And I didn't say anything to them aside from like, I just saw letters. One, because again, it wasn't their responsibility. I didn't give them the heads up. I didn't know I was getting a package. But there was this theme of like, I need to speak up. I need to speak up. This hasn't happened in a while. This theme of speaking up. So then I started thinking about this fire sign. This new fire sign. I'm like, would it have made a difference if I spoke up? To tell them, well, why haven't you, And the thing is, I don't have to. And that's what I was saying. I'm like, I don't think I have to tell him. He doesn't have to do anything. If he doesn't want to, right? He's entitled to do what he wants to do. It just happens to be important to me. And then even thinking about the other stuff, like, I don't even know if we're really in alignment with our values. I've seen some of the stuff that he posts. Some of the stuff makes sense for me, and then other stuff, I know where it's coming from, right? The political activists, like, I know where it's coming from, but it's not the way that I would normally address stuff. But again, to each their own. And realizing this is my trigger, right? It's not his, it's mine. And it's, again, that element of like, the freaking themes, the whole theme. I'm settling, right? Like even with the activities, I settled for what they gave me. I mean, but what could you do in that moment? Like, we were in the air. I guess I should have confirmed. I just assumed he knew where we were going. I don't know. Gotta sit there. I know. Here's the thing. I know this is gonna come up again. This can come up again. You bite the bullet and say something. Right? Confrontation. This is what I teach my clients, right? About confrontation. Getting better at it. Getting better. I need to not run away. I need to speak up and say something. It was just predominant. That's not getting more. Okay? It's predominantly somewhere in the middle today. Somewhere in the middle. Damn it. That was a theme. That was a lesson. And that's going to stay with me for a little bit. Okay. I hear you. I hear you. Gotta speak up. Okay. Not settle. So if he was a lesson, so in my weekend spread, I did a weekend birthday spread. I'm walking away from death, so I knew it was the end of a cycle, and I'm walking towards judgment, which is everything in divine timing, a new awakening. Basically, judgment is like an awakening. So the end of a cycle, right? Birth of a new one, pretty appropriate, right? 41 coming to an end and starting 42. Okay, here we go. What happens next? You're good. Right. Bye. Hi. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, and we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience, and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, you know, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.